What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your guy, something. Hit the keys. Here today with a little bit different of a topic. So I don't know if you guys know, maybe a week or two ago, I did a review on a plugin called Vatra. And it was by basically the creator of Bedroom Producer Blog, my guy Tomas. He started a new plugin company basically called Flame Sound. And so I did a review on it a few days ago, and I guess apparently 2 days after this man put this plugin out, it's already been pirated. So what I want to do in this video is I kind of want to read through what his thoughts are because he's posted it on his page, kind of give some thoughts, and I kind of want you guys to weigh in the comment section. I know it's about to get crazy down there, but I just, we hear about crack plugins. Some of y'all use crack plugins, but you never hear from the developer side, the person that actually made the plugin, about, why they didn't put protection on the plugin or why they didn't do this and that. So I figured I'd cover it in today's video and then, you know what I'm saying, weigh in a couple thoughts. So over here, it's a Bedroom Producer Blog, or BPB. What they do is they report on plugins if you're not aware. They do a lot of free plugin stuff and a lot of good stuff for the community. They give a lot of giveaways away. They cover a lot of plugins, a lot of deals, stuff like that. I get a lot of my information from this site, okay? So as you see here, it says, my first plugin was pirated in 48 hours. Here why it still has no copy protection, right? So this is Vatra right here. It's basically an enhancer. You can use it as a transient shaper. Not a bad plugin. You can use it to thicken out your sound, okay? So what he says is, I've spent almost 2 years building Vatra, my first premium plugin for Flame Sound. Then roughly 2 days after the public launch on July 29th, a pirated copy was already circulating. So keep in mind too, he's already made a bunch of plugins over time and given them away for free. So this is his first premium plugin. So the first time he ever charges for a plugin, within 48 hours, it gets cracked. So it says here, when you make a plugin, there are so many fun milestones to look forward to, like the first test build, the first GUI, the first sale, and even the first support email. He said, but there's also less fun ones too, like the inevitable getting pirated milestone apparently arrives around day 2. To be honest, I was surprised to see the pirated copy of Vatra was online only a couple days after the release. I knew it was going to happen at some point, but if a plugin gets pirated that fast, what exactly am I supposed to do with that information? Add an annoying activation system, put a license manager between someone and the plugin they paid for, make every honest customer prove they're honest just to slow down users who were probably never going to pay. That trade never made much sense to me. I wrote last week about what it took to make Vatra, and one of the decisions I mentioned there was also one of the easiest for me to make, but also one that looked questionable to some of my friends I shared it with. Vatra ships with no copy protection. I still feel good about that call. If anything, this made me feel better, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do things to make it harder to pirate your plugins, but it sounds like he just didn't want to irritate or annoy all of us producers who always complain about software managers or iLock or all that other stuff, right? So he says, to be fair, Vatra having no copy protection also means this probably was not the hardest job in the world, but that is the part of the point. Any protection I add can still be cracked eventually, and then I'm left with the part that does not go away, which is more friction for the customers who paid. So after 15 years of writing about plugins on BPP, I know how much producers hate copy protection. See what I'm saying? I've seen it in hundreds of emails and countless comments. Someone buys a plugin, changes computers, reinstalls the system, opens a session on a laptop, or tries to work somewhere without the internet, and it's suddenly the tool they paid for becomes a problem to solve rather than a fun music toy or tool. Sorry. I have no love for license managers, broken activations, dongles, or installers that seem to have a personal grudge against your free time. I agree with everything he's saying here too. So Vatra has no activation servers, no keys, no nonsense for customers. You buy it, download it, install it, and make music. That can make Vatra easy to pirate, but it also makes Vatra easier to use, and the second part matters more to him. If you're on the pirated copy, no hard feelings. If Vatra ends up earning its keep in your mixes, you know where to buy it. Purchasing a plugin is not only about getting a file, it also means that you have the license to use the software and that you can stay connected to the version that keeps you getting better, with updates included. So for example, the pirated copy of Vatra is v.10 frozen in time. It won't get no updates or bug fixes, right? We get that. I paid Vatra license includes lifetime updates. I made that publicly, and I plan to keep improving the plugin because version 1.0 was just the starting point. So it says right now, Vatra is only $39, and what you get is a real license. It covers 3 computers. You can transfer it, you can move it. Everything at Vatra is yours, and you also get an official clean installer plus real support. And of course, if support development, meaning that every license helps pay for the next update. I'm not pretending that piracy isn't a little bit annoying, but I also don't want to build flame sound around suspicion, locks, and little obstacles that mostly bother the people who support the plugin. I'm happy to build around the people who try the plugin, like it, buy it, right? You know what I'm saying? So basically, he's willing to do more, you know? And I understand it because he's offering updates, he's doing all this other stuff, right? So one of the comments I've seen though is typically people's thoughts on crack plugins, which I don't understand how this can even be a thing, you know, like this thought process, you know? So this person right here says, wow, 2 days. On the one hand, it's a pity to hear this piece of news. On the other hand, it's somehow a compliment to your plugin because it testifies to interest in your product. I have to admit, dealing with pirated products, but for several reasons, right? Not all developers provide enough trial period products or trial version at all. That's not on the developer. I mean, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. That's a lesson my dad always taught me. If you can't afford it, don't buy it, you know? I purchased a couple of instruments that have completely disappointed me, so I'm not going to purchase a pig and a poke anymore. Again, there's so many demos on the internet. That's why we do this. There's so many demos on the internet so that you can see the demo of a product before you go steal it. Because a lot of people say, well, I'll get the crack version, and then if I like it, I'll go buy the full version. Most people ain't doing that, dog. Maybe there's a few people out there doing that. Most people ain't doing that. So it's like trying to justify theft, which, you know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be trying to justify theft. That's just my thing. Like if you're a producer, right? And you buy a crack plugin, or you get a crack plugin, you make a beat, and then somebody steals your beat. How can you justify anything? You know what I'm saying? Everything you used was stolen to make the beat. It should be stolen. You know what I'm saying? So I get that not everybody can afford every plugin. And I get that some people are going to be looking at me like, dude, they send you plugins, shut up. But the fact is, I paid for Omnisphere 2. I paid for the Waves bundle I have. I paid for FL Studio. I paid for Pigments. I paid for Ozone. I paid for Nectar. I've paid for so many plugins. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I paid for all my plugins, you know, except for once I became to a point, you know, as a reviewer where people were going to send them to me. But all the tools that I needed, I always paid for. So I don't understand where we're in an area now where there's all this free stuff. There's this fire free piano. Granted, it's 25 gigabytes, but that piano, it's as good as any paid piano you're going to pay for it because it's a paid piano. Or Pigments, they just gave away Pigments free. They're giving away Analog Lab free. There's so many good free plugins that you can use. How can you even at this point still justify, I guess, pirating stuff and cracking stuff, you know? I guess that's my question for everybody else in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. I'll comment on some of this stuff. I ain't gonna try to make it a war zone up in there, man. So when y'all down there talking to each other today, y'all talk nice. Y'all play nice. Don't be just going at each other and calling each other out of each other's name and all that other stuff. But I just wanted to bring this topic up because I know Tomas, he's a cool dude. He's a good dude. So it's like his stuff getting pirated when he's the guy giving everybody the free plugins and all the other stuff to me is just wild. So make sure if you guys do like this content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe to that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. I appreciate you guys' time as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Some, hit the key.